Good morning. I want to welcome everyone to COVID-19 legal issues and international students. What we feel is a very timely presentation in these challenging times. And I would like to encourage everyone to visit our website. If you type in Free Lawyers, University of Florida, Free Lawyers UFL, or this is our website, studentlegalservices.ufl.edu. First thing I'd like to do is just do a couple of shout outs. John Adcock, our director, intended to join us today. I think everyone understands because of the heavy volume that we're experiencing. He's working on his cases right now. We are open. I want to stress that to everyone. Our hours are 8 to 5. We're not doing walk-in services, in-person services right now, but anybody that can attest to my late night emails knows we are working as diligently as we can to handle everyone's cases. So feel free to contact us. I also want to thank some of the visitors today. Dalen Frank again for helping me with the PowerPoints, making needed suggestions behind this. We spent many hours working together via Zoom on the ideas that are being presented. She's been a great inspiration and help on this. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lane Prebor. I've spent 23 years as a practicing attorney. 8.5, almost 9, has been here at the University of Florida Student Legal Services. I entered University of Florida Law School in fall of 1994, graduated in 96. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm very passionate about both civil and students' rights, including international students' rights as well. Some shout outs today. We want to thank our good friends at Graduate Family Housing for promoting this, at MCDA as well, the International Center, of course, for helping our students through these challenging times, Ryan Gavin, as well as all our friends at Student Government for supporting us and helping us do these PowerPoints and presentations, and everyone else I want to thank for joining today. Our time currently, it looks like it's 10:05 on the East Coast. Good morning to everyone. For my international students, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're at. And with that, let's get started. First, a legal disclaimer. Realize that the information is not intended to constitute specific legal advice. We would really like you to consult us, okay, in order to give you specific legal advice. And remember that the information contained herein are those of Student Legal Services only, not necessarily those of the University of Florida, the Board of Trustees, the Board of Governors, or the state of Florida. And we want to stress that every situation is unique, particularly for our international students. We would love for you to apply for our services. There's a link here, and I'm going to give you a link to this complete PowerPoint at the end. You can also contact me at our website or email to request a complete copy of this. We wish to extend our wishes for everyone's safety and well-being during the COVID-19 epidemic. We also stand with our students in speaking out against racism and discrimination. We encourage you to abide by the appropriate quarantine public safety laws during this period, including social distancing and PPEs. And again, if you have any questions about any COVID-19 related cases or any other legal issues, medical billing, insurance question, the leasing issues, which is probably about 90% of what we're handling right now, any other legal matters, know that there are legal options to help you during this time period. First, let me introduce our staff, if I may. We have a very small office. We like to think that we have a very large impact. 5 individuals here. We've been providing legal help since 1977, and we're staffed by 4 attorneys, 1 legal assistant with over 105 years of practice and experience between us. We're all on a first name basis. John, who of course I said today is very busy, would love to have joined us, is our director. Alicia, our associate director. Myself, Ray, as the attorneys, and Joy Thomas as the administrative assistant. I should say that we're all 4 attorneys here, and Joy's my very diligent administrative assistant that also brings 8 years of experience to the field. Our job is to keep you mainly out of court. I know the last place that my students want to be is court, but if it's necessary, we can go with you to court for these types of cases. Landlord-tenant, really what we call for most of our students, going to be apartment. We see a few houses that are being rented. Removal of criminal records. Don't worry, our students are very fine people. The criminal charges, if anything, are usually very low-level misdemeanors: underage possession of alcohol, sometimes possession of marijuana. Dissolution of marriage. We can also do divorces, name changes, step-parent adoptions. Advice and assistance. We can provide advice and assistance in all of these areas. And I'm listing a slew of areas we could go into, many of them. Remember that we do both civil as well as criminal. We like to think that if you buy a car, for example, the car breaks down on you. If you're having any issues with debt, consumer debt with your landlord, please come see us, okay? Everything from a simple traffic citation, insurance, credit cards, contracts, anything. If you have a damage to your car, you're worried about insurance. Medical billing is a huge one right now for us. I know some of my international students are worried that medical billing in the United States can sometimes reach tens of thousands of dollars. Please come see us, okay, if that is your situation, or even if it's anything over 100, we're happy to help you with that. What do we not do? Well, right now, we don't do immigration and visas, but don't worry, if you do have any international immigration and visa issues, still contact us. We can get you to a local attorney, one of which was doing an initial consultation for only $50, which, as anybody knows, is very, very low priced in the attorney world. We also do not do income tax, patent, trademark, and copyright, personal injury, real estate, buying or selling homes. But again, contact us. We will get you to somebody that can help you if you're interested in any of these areas. Limitations. What can we not do? Well, we represent all 50,000 plus UF students, so all of you are my bosses, all of you are my clients, so I can't pick and choose and say, Joe, you're the right one here. Mary, you're the wrong one. If you have a conflict between each other, I think everyone understands that. Again, you can contact us. We'll try to get you to a neutral service that can help you. Any claims against the University of Florida, the state of Florida, or any of its agencies, students contact me all the time and they say, Len, my professor doesn't like me, gave me a C. Unfortunately, we can get you, okay, to the Ombuds office or another department here at UF that can help you with that. Disputes under $100. Reason is we think under $100, we hope that you can settle it on your own, particularly after attending one of these workshops. Or if it goes over $15,000, the good news is 99% of our students' cases fall within these ranges. Again, as I mentioned, we're unable to assist on immigration or visa-related matters, but still contact us. Particularly, one thing that I do want to emphasize to my international students is that be aware of the consequences of the criminal charges. It can affect your visa. It can also potentially affect your immigration status. If you get a traffic ticket, you really should come see us because we need to determine very quickly if it's criminal or if it's civil. Who's eligible for free legal services? As long as you're taking at least 6 credit hours and paying the activity and service fees. Don't worry whether it's in person or online. We realize many classes now are in line to protect you. If you have any on-campus leasing issues, please know that it's a conflict for us, but your very good friends and helpful staff at UF Housing and Residence Education will be happy to assist you. There's a link to their website here. Their phone number is also very easy, 392-2161. And rather than having a one-size-fits-all approach to the off-campus leasing issues, we want to consider it on a case-by-case basis. We want to look at your location. First of all, are you a student that's affected by a travel ban? If so, or travel restrictions? If so, it's possible you can't even be here. Secondly, it's safety, hygiene issues. okay, need to be examined. Available leasing options, the language is in the lease, as well as your student and family financial circumstances need to be examined. So please go to our website and apply for services if you need specific help. Certainly feel free at the end of this if you want to enter a question, or I'll knock off mute for everyone. Can you terminate your lease agreement because of COVID-19? This is the #1 question from my international students right now, many of whom can't travel. Unfortunately, generally, no. A lease is a legally binding contract, which can be changed only if all parties agree. However, as I mentioned to you, it may depend upon the particular issues in your case, like the wording in the lease agreement or your circumstances. We're arguing now that many of our students can't even come to the United States to be able to take possession of their apartment, let alone fulfill the other 30 requirements of their lease. So please consult with us on these issues as soon as possible. I know rent is due in August. A lot of times it was due August the 1st. If you have a question or concern, let me know. What if you move out of your apartment before the lease ends? Do you still have to pay rent? Well, if you move out, please tell the landlord that you are returning possession of the apartment back to them. If you want to take a picture of you handing your keys over, or just make sure that they get the apartment, that you clean everything out that you have inside the apartment. The reason is we do not want the landlord to be filing any eviction actions against you. Right now, we do have a moratorium on evictions signed by our governor for non-payment of rent only, and the rent is still due. So remember, rent will likely be owed for the rest of the lease, and they may be able to pursue the money in court or through a collections agency. Why should you pay? Paying your rent and bills is a legal obligation. We encourage our students, of course, to stay on top of any legal obligations that they have. If you don't pay, though, the landlord can also take you to court and use a debt collection agency. What are the consequences? It can have a negative effect on your credit report and score. Also, difficulty in getting an apartment, buying a car, getting a credit card, or even opening a bank account. We've had plenty of students that have contacted us. When we analyze the credit report, usually we can take care of it relatively quickly as long as we know. But I'm going to encourage everyone to run credit checks on yourself, and I'm going to give you a free link today to do so. And remember that some employers now are running credit checks on their employees. It's very important that your credit report is clean if you're going to be working in banking, finance, or business. When you're dealing with tens of millions of dollars of other people's money, the employer is going to make sure that you don't owe money on your credit report. What are your leasing options right now? Let's talk about this, okay? Right now, I think everybody faces, basically, it's going to fall within this range with some exceptions. #1, if you keep paying your rent on time, you have nothing to worry about, okay? You're almost certainly not going to be reported to a collections company. You don't have to worry about credit reports. Some of my students are choosing to pay as long as they can. What the families are telling me is, Lane, we'll pay August, we'll pay September, October might be tough, but we'll see. Okay, by doing that, you keep the landlord hopefully happy. They're getting their money and they're not suing you. Your credit report's being protected. So if you're able to do that as long as possible. If you're not, #2, you can negotiate a deal, okay? And we like to say ABC. In this context, it means always be communicating with your landlord. As long as you're emailing or being in touch with them, at least calling so that they know that you're not just running out, not paying your bills. Right now, many landlords are waiving late fees. I've had many landlords tell me that they do not expect the fees to be paid on time, even in August. Okay, so they're waiving the late fees. They do want to get paid by the end of August. So pay later. Ask them if you can pay later. I've even had some landlords agree to a 2 or 3 month extension before payment without moving into an eviction or making the student, leave the apartment. C is a payment plan. I've had some landlords that have extended payments on the last 3 months during the spring and summer. They extended the payments as long as 12 months. So if you can pay $100 or $200 and the landlord is saying that they will not report it on your credit report, that might not be a bad option right now. D, look to funding sources. I'm going to give you some links as well in this presentation later on that may be money available. E is subleasing. We have a specific slide set aside for just subleasing by itself. And F is excusing payment. Good luck with that. Almost every landlord that we have talked to wants their payment now. 3, worst case, if you can't pay rent, please move your items out of the apartment and return possession of the apartment back to the landlord so they can attempt to relet the unit. Let's talk about subleasing versus reletting. There's a difference between the two. Subleasing usually means that you are still responsible for the bills on the apartment if the new tenant is unable to pay. Reletting usually means that the lease is being assigned to a new person and you no longer have further legal obligations. Make sure that you get this in writing, and if you have any questions, contact us. But that's the quick difference. Let me give you some quick tips here on it. Number one, I want to make sure that you get the apartment's permission, okay, in order to sublease. They have to know because they have to run both credit checks on the new person as well as criminal checks to make sure that the person is not an offender. Number two, list it with that apartment office, the complex that you're at. Remember that a lot of times they're going to try to fill up their own rooms first, okay, before they fill up your room. But at least make sure that they know that your room is available if someone wants to take it. Number three, advertise. Off-campus life, we have a specific slide devoted to them. They are a wonderful UF resource available here. You can list your subleases on there, and a lot of Gator students go there. That's the first stop for them to look at available units. Right now, realize you're going to have to probably do a very deep discount. We have a lot of units available right now. It's great if you're looking to rent. More difficult if you're looking to sublease or to relet. Facebook, student groups, Craigslist, alligator bulletin boards. Beware of scams, of course. If you think that there may be a scam, contact us. We want to make sure that you're not a victim, but you need to advertise as much as possible right now. Gainesville, quite honestly, is overbuilt. We have a lot of units that are available. We have a lot of empty units right now. So a deep discount is my recommendation, and advertise as much as possible. If someone is interested, if you are here, if you are in Florida, I would encourage you to make the drive up to go with them in person. Use, of course, mask, appropriate social distancing, but please go with them to the apartment office. The reason is that we've seen some of our subleasing tenants, students, they'll go to the apartment office wanting to take over the lease of one of our students, and the apartment office will lower their own price to beat our student's price. So you want to tell the person that's subleasing that if this happens, contact you, okay? And you'll be willing to negotiate with them more. Make sure to sign this paperwork and pay a sublease fee. I know it's $200 or $300, but it's money probably well spent right now. We also encourage you to use our subleasing form between the two students. It's available again at our website, studentlegalservices.ufl.edu under forms. Now, credit checks. There will be free credit checks that are available weekly now during COVID-19. Please, for everyone, use this website. This is the one government-approved website by the Federal Trade Commission. It's called annualcreditreport.com. It's going to ask you very specific personal information, potentially including social security numbers and credit card numbers. we want to make sure that you use this site and not one of the imposter sites. You'll be able to look at your credit reports here, and you can see if there's anything showing up now, and we want to keep things from showing up in the future. If you have a COVID-19 or other safety concern about the property, of course, that's always your safety is our number one concern here. Please call 911 or the police if there's an immediate safety threat. If you have a housing code violation, considering contacting our City of Gainesville Code Enforcement. If you have any health-related issues, there's the Alachua County Department of Health. And very specifically, there is a COVID-19 call center here, 1-866-779-6121, specifically set aside for COVID-19 issues right now. Financial aid, I want to make sure we're working on both ends here. I'm trying to help my students if they need to sublease as well, or if it's possible to terminate contracts. So on this end, on the other end, we're trying to find funding sources. There are these available funding sources, Gator program, the Student Financial Affairs, of course. And if you've had any change in your family income or circumstances, you can submit a revision petition to have your income reevaluated. I've included links to both last year's as well as this year's school terms here. USCIS, I think everyone knew this, but on March the 18th, USCIS temporarily suspended in-person services, but they were reopened on June the 4th. However, if the COVID numbers become worse, public closures can be extended according to their website. There is this online filing website, and for emergency appointments, we also have the contact center. In terms of embassies, I know I've been contacted by a lot of students from around the world. It depends country by country, okay, is what we've been told. And unfortunately, I wish I had the current updated list here. We're trying to keep up on our own, but it is so country specific. I encourage you to reach out and check on your own. Okay, unfortunately, we have restricted travel, and we can call it travel restrictions or travel bans. You can go to the CDC government website, which will tell you that several presidential proclamations have been issued. And with specific exceptions, individuals from these countries will not be allowed entry into the United States, including China, Iran, the European Schengen area, United Kingdom, Ireland, and Brazil. And I know a lot of my students even attending today may be from those affected areas. That's why it's so important that you contact us. Also, make sure that you're in touch with your International Center advisor, okay, to find out and to make sure currently that you keep up to date. There may be changes coming, and like I said, you may even want to check daily on these changes. Health insurance and medical billing, please make sure your health insurance is up to date. We want you to check, see what the coverage is. Deductibles, meaning how much do you have to pay out of pocket potentially. Usually there's yearly deductibles ranging anywhere from $500 to $2,500. I've seen that as high as $5,000 before. Also know about your copay. For me, if I go to a doctor for what's called a wellness visit, it's only $20 from my own pocket. And then your maximum out of pocket per year. Many insurance policies are $2,500 or $5,000 maximum per year, but that's a good thing to know as well. Please keep your health insurance card on you at all times right now. Auto insurance, we want to save you as much money as possible. One of my own insurance companies is giving me a 15% discount right now. I think many are. If you're not getting it, contact your auto insurance company, okay, to see, because now you may qualify for lower rates. You also may want to adjust the coverage on your car, okay? If you're not driving as much or not driving at all during COVID-19, you still have to maintain insurance if you own a car in Florida. The minimum is $10,000 for personal injury protection, $10,000 property damage liability, but we recommend a lot more than that. Okay, that's the minimum that's required. We also recommend collision comprehensive if you have a nicer car. What do I mean by nicer car? It's hard to objectify it, but to make it an objective number. But I will give an example that many of my students buy cars $25,000, $35,000, $40,000, and they don't get collision insurance on it. If they're in an accident, the other person doesn't have insurance, or it's your fault, you won't have the insurance to pay for it. So please make sure that you have collision and comprehensive if you have a nicer, more expensive car. Also, in terms of tax questions, if you have, if you are one of the international individuals that may potentially qualify for a stimulus check, here's a stimulus check check. You can go to this website and see what the status is on it. There's also free tax help available. I know that this specific service under the IRS has helped many of my students, including international students, usually during the busy times of tax season around April, but go ahead and check the site for local help. I believe there are 5 or 6 different locations in Gainesville that are potentially providing free tax assistance. I will tell you, during COVID-19, they're not doing free in-person tax assistance, okay, right now. My understanding is it may be online. Healthcare forms, of course, I would love for every one of my students to please come to us and do a durable power of attorney, a HIPAA form, a living will, healthcare surrogate, organ donation form. What's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to your body if you had a serious cardiovascular event? Certainly, I would love for all my students to do it. If you are interested, email us or contact our office, and I will certainly get you a copy of all of those forms. Social distancing, please practice at least 2 meters, 6 feet between you, and we want to make sure that everyone is safe. That's a minimum. Now, remember, wear your masks at all times. You have to wear it if you visit a university facility, and in Alachua County, you should wear a mask if you visit a store or other business. Usually there'll be a sign there to tell you that as well. Looking for updates, you can go to this website, which will give you the timely updates right now. The International Center, of course, it's a wonderful service here at the university, and please visit this. The reason that I like them is because my students are frequently contacting me and they say, Lane, oh, do you have that immigration form, you know, and I'll say, you know, actually the International Center has forms and resources. They've done a lot of the work for you, rather than having to go through Google and checking all the search engines to check and to find those forms, particularly the updated forms. Frequently, they're located right here. They also have a wonderful group of advisors here, as well as very timely International Center updates on the coronavirus and its effect on our students. Off-campus life, I can't say enough also about them. They've been educating and assisting our students on off-campus issues since 2004. Here's their website for you to visit, offcampus.ufl.edu. If you're looking to rent, wonderful place to go. Please rent from a fellow Gator. I'm encouraging everybody to do that right now. It can be a win-win. You'll probably also get a deep discount on a sublease. Please be aware of COVID-19 scams, and I do this with every international presentation. Unfortunately, our international students are disproportionately affected by scams, and we've tried to determine the sources of this over the years, but they come in a variety of forms, anywhere from fake texts, emails, and calls. This is an actual fake text. It looks very much like the real thing, and there's no way of really knowing. I will tell you that in terms of my personal experience, it's usually a phone call or more likely an email where I have to call someone to get the information. I'm able to check and verify the information. Beware of scam medicine PPEs. I think we've all heard about those that are available, and we want to make sure that you're protected effectively. Fake job offers. If you're seeing an email that looks like it originates from another student or another professor, it's very possible that it's been hacked. Okay, if it's offering you a job, you want to make sure that you independently verify before doing that. Anybody, I believe we had a series of emails the other day. I had 287, I think at last count, a series of emails. And if you look through the emails, one of them is my response. I wasn't sure if it was originating from me or others. Turns out it wasn't. It wasn't me at all, but make sure that's something that if emails have been hacked, you want to take care of very quickly. Fake bank checks. If you get a lot of money in the mail, they ask you to wire them back money. This is actually a fake bank check. It purports to be from Bank of America. It looks exactly like the real thing. It is not at all. Fake IRS, Department of Homeland Security. Some of our students unfortunately get calls, particularly our international students. They ask you for money. They're not going to call you and ask you for money and threaten to deport you. Okay, there's a much more official notice process. So if you feel you're the victim of a scam, if you want to do a police report, absolutely fine. If you want to come talk to us first to make sure, that's absolutely fine as well. Here's a link to everything that I talked about. And I know this doesn't have the specific addresses on it, but if you click them on, there'll be a link. This is probably, if you do take a picture today, I encourage you to take a picture of this. This one link will have this complete PowerPoint on it for you in a, I believe, PDF format, and you'll be able to click on all the links and access the information that is available within it. And again, if you want to request the PowerPoint of this, please feel free to share it with your friends, with your colleagues. This is public information. It's meant to be shared with our students, with our colleagues. We want to educate everyone on it. We're located on the 3rd floor of the Rights Union and room 3500. If you go up on the elevators, if you look at the signage, it will lead you right to our office. However, I know John, our director, wanted me to emphasize right now, again, we're not open for in-person services. So we would prefer that you email us, go to our website and apply for services, or call us if you would like. And again, we're very accessible right now. I'm going to leave this information up and the next link up for just a little while. I'm going to knock off the record at this point. Feel free to ask any questions, and I'll be available. I think we blocked off a pretty significant amount of time. And again, if you don't feel comfortable asking questions today, certainly feel free